So okay, this lesson I do not want to keep it very formal. If you want to do something else, you can do it. But I want to start solving a problem for you. I ask you to help me to solve the problem. This is a problem in Math 4, but I realize that you have enough knowledge to solve that problem. But of course, even in Math 4, this is considered to be a hard problem. But I just want to go through it together here today, so that I want to give you some lessons about how to think. I want to hear from you how you think, and then we proceed together in the solving problem session. And if you don't like it, you don't have to listen to me, but I expect you to keep silence, so work on something that you like. Otherwise, you can listen to me. Okay? So this is the question that I want to write here, and then I ask you to really be active and answer my questions, so that I want to see if I can fix it. So the problem is this. You have a curve, y equals to 1 minus a quarter of x squared. And then you draw a line passing through the origin, so that that line cuts this at 2 points. Okay? So why is that the case? So let me just draw. If I want you to draw this, can you draw this without computer? I not draw, sketch. How does this look like, this curve? First of all, what that curve is, in a matter of seconds. What's the name of the curve? Parabola. Yes? Is it opening up or down? Down, because the coefficient of x squared is negative. Yes? So if you want to have an idea how to sketch that one, I think it's a good idea to put x equals to 0, y becomes 1. By the way, this is the maximum point. Yes? Why is that? Why this 1 is the maximum height?
Because of 0, if x is any x, it will always be lower than x.
Yeah, because x squared is positive.
Yeah.
When you multiply it by minus 1 over 4, it becomes negative. So 1 minus something is definitely below 1. So it is already clear that this 1 is the maximum point. And if I want to find the intersection points with the x-coordinate, with the x-axis, what do? I put y equal to 0, yes? I will clean them, I don't need them later. I put y equal to 0, so it becomes this, equals to 0. Then it means that 1 over 4x squared is 1, then it means x squared is 4, then it means x is plus or minus 2. So this means that, for example, if this is 1, I don't want to keep the scaling. So let me make it a little bit lower. Here is 1, and then assume that here is 2, here minus 2, and here is 2. Yes? So this is the sketch of this graph. Okay? And then I am telling you that, the problem is in telling you that, you draw a line passing through the origin. Any line. Okay? Not, of course, vertical, not horizontal. Just try to have an inclined line. Okay? And then how many intersection points do you think you will get if I draw any arbitrary line passing through the origin? 2. Yes? So the problem is telling you this. You try to draw that one of them, for example. I get 2 intersection points. 1 here, 1 there. The claim in the problem is this. If you draw a tangent line to the parabola at this point, and do the same thing to the parabola at this point, the tangent lines that you draw are perpendicular to each other. Okay? And that's a big claim, yes? So let me just try to... Of course, this is not clear in my picture, because it is completely out of scale or whatever, but hopefully I did it good. So this, we want to show this is 90. Okay? Why this is an interesting problem? It doesn't depend on which line you choose. Okay? If you choose this line, I get these 2 points. I draw the tangent lines. The problem tells you they are perpendicular.
But you mean straight line, right?
Straight lines. Tangent lines are all, yes, this line is also a straight line. So now if you see that if I change this line here, Then I get another 2 intersection points. Then the blue lines will of course change. Yes? But the claim in the problem, if it is true, is that no matter which line you choose, these tangent lines drawn are always perpendicular. I will answer your question. So first of all, is the problem clear? That's the problem. This is the claim. We want to prove it. My goal is not to start solving the problem. I want to teach you something how to think, because I think it's somehow needed. Now I want to hear from you. What do you do? So let me clean this. We don't need it. Okay, so I want to hear from you, and then when we come to a good conclusion and agreement, I will write it down. Yes, Ali?
I think the first step is that we choose a straight line that we're gonna work with.
I don't like this.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is coming. Might be you are going to... I want you to think like a computer. Yes? If you want to solve that problem, what do you think first? This is extremely, by the way, important. Because this will guide you what to do next. Which, of course, what you said is one of those.
Yes.
But this is not the way. I don't want you to think in that way. If the problem is simple, I will come to you. If the problem is simple, then it really doesn't matter. The problem is so simple. And one thing that I want you to understand, mathematics is completely different from writing a novel. Might be you have heard about brainstorm or something when you want to write a novel. It is completely awful if you want to do this in mathematics.
I see.
Yes? If you try to write everything and then try to edit it later, that is different. You want to create a novel which is very interesting and fascinating in the first project. This is not working in mathematics. In mathematics, there is no way for brainstorm unless you really get stuck, you don't know what to do, then try to think about all possibilities. Okay? But not at this level, okay? So that's what I'm saying, that the goal is to show that these two blue lines is perpendicular. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Should come to your mind. Yes?
Try to figure out the tangent, or like the, I guess...
Not yet.
For the
Just for you that write the code, this is not the first step.
Figure out the intersection points.
Not yet.
Okay.
You have to have a grand strategy to start, yes?
So the first thing I would think to do is to write down what exactly I need to calculate.
What?
What exactly I need to calculate. So the question is asking to show that the lines are perpendicular. So I would, so my first step would be to write down that these two lines, these two tangent lines should, their k value should be equal to -1.
Exactly. That I will start from here, because I will ask myself, the goal of the problem is to prove blue lines are perpendicular. The first thing that you ask yourself is that, forget about all the nonsense information given in the problem for the time being. The goal of the problem is to prove two lines are perpendicular. This is the goal. Yes? So the goal is, this is the goal. To prove two lines are perpendicular. Per for short, okay? This is the goal. It has been asked in the problem. The first question that comes to mind is to ask myself, what I have learned in my high school education or my mathematics education for proving two lines are perpendicular. So this is very, by the way, very natural, isn't it? Because you want to prove two lines are perpendicular. The first question that you have to answer is that, what am I supposed to do to confirm that they are perpendicular? Mm-hmm. This is really, by the way, the first question that has to come to your mind. Okay? And then there are two possibilities. Either you have studied something about this before, or you have to take the role of discovering it yourself. But in this case, you don't need to discover because you already know. And then I want to emphasize, this is the role of the memory. If you have totally forgotten about this, there is no way that you can even start the problem. Yes? So, okay, the first thing is to do, so now we have a strategy. Number one, a strategy. So how can I solve this? Can you write a sentence for me? What is my strategy now? Yes?
Prove that the k values of the two lines multiplied becomes -1.
This is my strategy. Yes? To prove that, let me make it short, okay? To prove that S1, the slope of the first line, slope 1 times slope 2 is -1. So now I know what to do now. Because if you don't have this in mind, you really are lost. You don't know where to start. But now you have something to start with. We want to prove S1, S2 is -1. And then if you really think about this, there is another immediate step coming in. What is that? So the strategy is clear. You see, this strategy is completely different from this picture you see. I just want to prove an equality between S1 times S2 is -1. So it is a simple, concrete problem in my hand now. So can you tell me, okay, what's the next step?
Figure out how we can represent S1, S2, or like an equation for them.
Don't make it complicated.
Find S1 and
S2, yes, that's simple as that. Yes?
Find S1.
So if I want to prove this, one possibility is to do what? To find S1, to find S2, multiply them to see if it's -1.
Yeah.
Isn't it the case? So you see, you have your strategy, everything you think will go around that. Okay, now the question is then. So now number 2, we realize together, determine S1 and S2. If someone asks you, why are you interested? Now you can answer, because I want to multiply them to confirm that this is -1. Okay, now, so you need, this is a step 1, this is a step 2. Now step 2 consists of 2 things, slope 1 and slope 2. Okay, now I want to, for example, let us take this one to be line 1, let us take this one to be line 2, a slope 1, slope 2. Okay, let us concentrate on slope 1. Okay, if now you know what to do, this is the way that I have trained my brain. Now I forget about this one. I forget everything, more or less. And I ask my question, how can I find S1? This is something that you can learn, by the way. This is a skill. You have to completely forget about what is going on now. Try to answer just one single equation. How can I find S1? Now I want a volunteer to answer that question. Yes?
I need a point on my parabola.
No, just tell me everything you want to say. Yes.
Okay, I want to find a point on the parabola.
A point means, for example, here.
Well,
So this is mathematics, yes? You have to be very precise. You say a point, I pick a point. Is that okay?
okay, that point, I guess, in this
Okay,
example.
so that point. So that's important, yes? You have to say, I want to find that point.
Yeah, okay.
Why is that? By the way, why is it useful?
Because if I have that point, I can find the tangent which passes through that.
Okay, this part that he's describing is related to how much you learn your lesson, and it depends really on your memory, nothing else. Yes? So I want you to understand, because this is the prototype, this is the picture you should have in the back of your head. I have drawn it several times, I would say. So if I say this, there is a point here, and I am interested in the slope of this one, let me show it S in this case. Can you write something for it? For example, if I write f prime of x, do you agree with that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
No.
Clear. Mathematics is unforgivable. You have to be 100% correct.
It's not f prime of x, it's f prime of that.
So that matters. You should say no. You cannot say approximately it is correct. No. It's like a telephone number. You cannot give your telephone number to me approximately. Yes? That's important. So this is not correct. So what is correct then? What should I write here? This x is not correct. What should I write here?
Well, you should probably name your point. So.
Yes, exactly. So you see, everything that I was doing, I was following these structures.
Yeah.
Yes. So this means that I give it a name here, A, and then A. A is just a symbol, but don't get involved with symbols. There is an English or Swedish sentence for this A. What that A is?
X.
What is A? If you want to give a phrase for A, what do you say A?
It's x coordinate.
Tangency.
What?
Point of tangency.
No, point of tangency. Do you buy it? Where's, if I give you this pen, show me the point of tangency. Do you show A?
It's point.
So you know that. Why do you say it? If I ask you to show me the point of tangency, do you show me this or you show me that? Which one do you show?
The point.
This one. So I'm asking about A. So do you understand it yourself? You don't need a teacher for that. Okay, and then in mathematics writing, you have to be really precise. You cannot say the point of tangency, oh, I mean A. No, oh, I mean A, this should be addressed in your what you write. Okay, so now can you just correct it again?
On the x-axis, point of tangency.
There's a better name. That's acceptable, but there's a better name for that. This is called the x-coordinate of the point of tangency. Yes? So this is point of tangency, this is the x-coordinate, so you have to put. So if you want to find a slope, this is again, I am repeating it again. This is memory. A slope of the tangent line is the derivative calculated at the x-coordinate of the point of tangency. There is only one way that I can find the slope of the tangent line. Okay? So to find S1, now, if I want to find S1, how many steps I have to follow? Just tell me again. I'm just repeating the same thing, but I want you to understand how is it going. So what is the first step to find S1? Everyone? No?
The formula of the interval.
No?
No.
F prime.
F prime. So why don't you say that? The first step is to take the derivative. When you have the derivative, then the problem appears. I want to have the x-coordinate of the point of tangency. But leave it for later. The first step is to find the derivative.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, we could also find the experiment first. Doesn't really matter.
No, it matters.
Why?
Because it is operational.
And,
So if I ask you to calculate this, F prime comes first.
yeah, but I mean, we could also just, if we have the x point, we can write that as a step. Okay, now know that S1 is equal
No, this
to
is not a
F
good
prime.
way. This is not an operational way. The operational way is to calculate F prime of A. So first of all, I have to start. I mean that if there is one point, if there are 2 points for calculating this, you first do F prime, I give you 1 point. Even if you cannot calculate A, you still got your 1 point.
I mean,
But if you want to start thinking all the time about A, and then you don't solve it,
No, I'm just saying it would be no difference if you solve the contents of the F prime before you solve the F prime itself.
no, you are right. But I'm just telling you. But if you want to mathematically, if you want to calculate this, you calculate F prime first. And this is the way I really think.
I mean, it feels like a justice, not like.
No, I mean this is a difference because I was teaching you how to think. If you want to just think in the other way, you might lose F prime. Because might be finding A is so hard for you, you cannot solve it. But in the exam, you can start doing F prime, even if you cannot do A. Yes, of course it doesn't matter.
I mean, I'm either way going to have to find F prime, and then after that, remember, or like just ignore F prime and then find A.
Yes.
So if the prime is not really, they don't depend on each other.
No, there is something. The reason that I am interested in A is because I want to calculate F prime A.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let us skip that. Okay, so we want to calculate F prime first. So I calculate. Then what happens? So hopefully everyone knows this. It should be a matter of very seconds, actually, very few seconds for you to answer this. What's the derivative? It's an E-level question even for Math 3C. Yes? Minus 1 over 2x. Yes, so that's my derivative. Okay? And now, this is not the slope yet. Now I need these x-coordinates. The x-coordinate for this point and the x-coordinate of that point.
Yes.
So number 3 is to determine x-coordinates. Let me give them names, yes? Let me give them tangency number 1, tangency number 2. So let me say to determine x-coordinates of T1 and T2. Okay. Now, this is what I want you to learn. When I am at this stage, I forget really everything. I don't have it in my memory. I don't know, might be I have trained myself, so this is possible. So this is a new problem for me. So I forget about what I have done here. Then I will start thinking about this. Now I want to hear from you. I want to find the coordinates, x-coordinates of T1 and T2. I want to hear from you.
Well, we don't have a line specific, right?
Okay, so we have to analyze that.
Yeah.
So I told you that's a hard problem even for Math 3, Math 4. But so we want to analyze. You want to find T1, T2. Talk about general ideas. I don't want you to state details. Yes, Ross?
But we want to find some way we can like represent, or some way we can think about the orange line.
Mhm.
And I would do that by, we could do that with an angle and say that that line has a specific angle, but I feel like that would just overcomplicate.
No, before that, answer why do you need that?
So why do I need it? Because
I'm teaching this today.
If I want to represent that line as a function, I would need a k-value.
No, but before that, why do you even need it?
So that we have a line which we can find the intersection.
Exactly. I want, because I know that T1 and T2 are intersection points of the orange line and the black curve. Yes? So in order, this is a role of memory and how much you have done Math 2C well. If I give you two functions and I ask you to find the coordinates of these intersection points, do you remember, assume that this is function f of x, this is function g of x, you want to find these coordinates. What was the rule? Yes?
You equate them.
So yes, you solve a system of equations, which means equating them. You are right. Why it means equating them? Because x and y's are the same, so it means f of x is equal to g of x. Okay, so this is the way that you have to analyze. So you see that now to determine the x-coordinate, there is another problem coming in.
Yeah.
Because I have to have the equations for my objects. I already know everything about the black curve. Then the next step comes in. Number 4. Determine an equation for the orange line. Yes? Okay, now we want to talk about this. Again, try to teach yourself. Forget about everything. Just concentrate on 4. Forget everything. You want to find an equation for this orange line. By the way, you see that this hard problem is composed of a lot of E problems.
Yes.
Combine them together, it becomes an A problem. Yes? So this is an E-level question, by the way, in Math 2C. You want to write you want to write an equation for this orange curve, orange line. Yes, Sam?
Y equal to k times x.
How many of you agree?
No.
He said kx. Y equals to kx. Agree? Raise your hands if you agree, but be careful. Yes?
Oh, isn't it kx plus m?
Okay, so you are saying kx plus m. So, Buel is saying that y kx plus m. Ali is saying y is equal to kx.
Oh,
Which one we prefer? Both of them are correct. But of course, which one do you prefer?
Well, M is 0, so for the second.
This one I prefer because it contains two unknowns. I'm making life harder for myself. By the way, can I write this? How should I know I can write this? Yes?
Because it passes through origin.
Yeah, it's mentioned in the problem that the orange line has to pass through the origin.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
read that.
Yes? So this means that it is acceptable to write it kx. But one question, is k known?
No.
This is something you need to think. Yes, I have a little bit of problem what k is. Do I know that?
No.
Is it a problem not knowing it?
I know this is an arbitrary line.
Hopefully it isn't.
Yeah, hopefully. This is a good phrase. Hopefully it isn't. If the problem is correct, it means somebody has already checked that the k value doesn't matter. But we have to live with it.
Is this an arbitrary line?
It's an arbitrary line. Let us just forget about being perpendicular or horizontal. Okay? So k is defined. Okay, so this is, so you see 4, determine an equation for this orange line. We answered that. The answer is y equals to kx. Okay, what is coming next? And then you have to have a good memory. Don't forget what was the goal of writing y to kx, because I want to find the intersection point.
Yes.
So now I can do that. How? To set up a system of equations, write one equation here, another equation here, and then you see, again, train your brain like this.
But it's 1/4.
1/4, thank you. So if you want to solve this, when I want to do it, I forget about everything so far. Because my problem is another E-level problem now, to solve the system. Yes?
Yes.
And now, the people who succeed to do them faster, because if they have done the algebra very good before, then you can do it faster. So hopefully, but the problem is that, see, if you cannot answer even one of these questions, then the problem is not solvable. This is what makes mathematics seems hard. By the way, it's not hard. Yes, mathematics is hard if you want to be creative, solve hard problems. But this method you can learn. Okay, so can you tell me what to do? You already told me. Put them equal. Yes. I will ask a lot of tricky questions. Be ready for that. Okay. So this becomes kx.
Okay, but this isn't solvable.
Yes.
We have 3 unknowns and 2 pieces of information.
Okay. So this is what I'm saying. Now, don't get confused. My question is that what I am supposed to find here, because as you told me, apparently I have 2 unknowns. One of them is x. If you tell me, do you know x, I say no. If you tell me, do you know k, I don't know. So apparently he is right. We have 2 unknowns with 1 equation. But is this a problem?
We say k doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Because we discussed about this. Have a sharp memory.
Yes.
Don't try to repeat things over and over again. Yes? We decided that k is not possible to find. And this is expectable because this line have freedom to move around. Yes? So forget about k once for all. Okay? So what is the question? I want to solve this to find k, or I want to solve this to find x.
X.
I want to find x.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so what is your suggestion now?
Solve for it.
So now you see this is a different problem. It's a Math 2C problem, E-level.
Yeah.
You want to solve this. What should I do first? It's a quadratic equation. So you know that quadratic equation, there's a famous method for this. ABC or PQ formula.
Yes.
Yes? But before that, this is technical problem. It's a little bit subjective. I do not start doing that immediately. What do I do? And then I also don't like fractions, so I multiply everything by 4. And this is a subjective. My taste is I want to have this minus sign positive. This is my way of thinking about the problem. So I multiply by minus 4. You can multiply by 4. Yes? So I multiply by minus 4. It becomes minus 4 plus x squared is equal to minus 4kx. You see? And then I have x squared plus 4kx, because you know to solve that, you need to do this. Yes? So you see, this is E-level question, I am doing it. So, and I want to solve that problem. So let us use PQ formula in this case, might be it is easier. So do you remember the PQ formula? X squared px plus q is equal to 0. And the formula is minus p over 2 plus or minus p over 2 to the power of 2 minus q.
We don't have. We don't. We also have an 80. That's
No, in PQ formula you don't have
Yeah,
A.
yeah, but we in
In this case we don't have A. Yes? So the A is 1 over.
you should no put by negative. Okay.
Yes. So then it means that what happens, x is equal to minus p over 2. What is p? Can you tell me? Just read it quickly. 4k. Thank you. So divided by 2 is 2k, but I have a minus sign, and then plus or minus the square root of this number to power 2, which becomes 4k squared, minus q. What is q? Minus 4. But minus q becomes positive 4. Yes? Okay, so can I go further? Did you expect to get a single number or two numbers? I mean two pure numbers. No, because they should be related to k. But still the problem is still standing. Do I need to know k? No. Apparently they claim no. Yes? So these are two numbers that I get. Now, let us try to analyze the problem. If I ask you, what did I calculate just now, can you show me on the picture? What are these things? What are they supposed to be?
The intersection.
Yes?
The x coordinate of
Exactly. Don't say intersection. The x coordinates of these 2 points. These are the x coordinates. Okay? And because I am lazy usually, this is hard for me to write, so I will abbreviate it with x plus and x minus. Yes?
Yes.
You don't need to do that. But you are usually also lazy, so be lazy in mathematics. This is good to be lazy in mathematics. So I would write x plus and x minus. Yes? X plus means I choose the plus sign, x minus means I choose the minus sign. Okay. What do you think I will do next? This is again memory. I hope that you haven't forgotten what we are doing in the long problem. It's a language, yeah.
You will put this in our root here.
Yes, because do you remember what was the reason that I did this? Because you see, I took the point was to determine S1, I took the derivative, but S1 is obtained when I put x, replace x with the x coordinate of the point of tangency. So don't lose that. I found the x coordinate of the point of tangency, I put them here. Okay? So number 5. So tell me, S1, what is S1? Anyone, just read it for me. What I want to write with my whiteboard right now.
Minus,
What should I write with my whiteboard? Just read it.
Minus
What?
1 over 2 times 1 of the x plus or minus.
X plus, for example. Yes, you are right, one of them. It's a very good way. And then S2, can you tell me then what is S2 then?
minus 1/2.
Minus 1/2 over, sometimes times what?
X minus.
X minus. Yes? But what was the goal? I am very close, by the way, to solving this hard problem. So, do you remember? It is on the board. Instead of having it on the board, I have trained myself. These are already in my memory in an organized way. This is the only thing that you have to learn, and this is something that you can learn. Okay? Unfortunately, apparently, we cannot increase our IQs. It's a sad story of life. So it was very, very important when I was at your age. It's really destructive. Do not compare your IQ with others' IQ, but compare yourself with your previous day, okay? Okay, so what I'm saying is that S1, S2. S1, S2, number 6. What do you think I will do here? The people are still with me. What I'm doing here? Multiply them. S1, S2 becomes what? Everyone?
minus 1.
No, it is not minus 1. I want to show it's minus 1.
Uh-huh.
We want to,
So what I do?
we want to write.
Just tell me what I want to write.
No,
No.
replace. Well, you want to.
No, S1, I'm just multiplying them. What was my goal? I found S1 and S2, I want to multiply them. So what's the answer?
Minus 1/2 times.
1/4
1/4
x plus x minus.
x plus x minus. Yes? Do you agree with me or not? Yes?
I just want to ask what's your IQ if you know.
I don't know about that. We can discuss about that later, okay? But let me just continue this one. So, S1 and S2 is 1/4 x plus x minus. Yes? And then I have to continue because it's not finished. Is it finished?
No.
Because what was my goal? It's everything written here. I want to reach to -1. I haven't reached yet to -1. So I have to continue. But the continuation is just a simple algebra. When I say a simple algebra, I mean for the students who valued learning algebra. Yes? Then I want you to see why it is hard to solve a problem that you haven't seen. Because first of all, you really underestimate the role of the memory. So did you see how many times I referred back to my memory to solve this problem? And then do it quickly. Yes? Because if I give you time, you can go back and page the book, read everything back, and then solve one step. Beep. And then after half an hour, beep. Yes? And do you really buy that computer if they want to sell it to you? You will never buy it, yes? That's important. The job market is like that. So you have to learn to do things quickly. This is important. So you have to practice so much that you can do things quickly. Okay, now let us try to do it here on the board. Hopefully we can finalize everything. So S1, S2, I want to continue. So S1, S2 is equal to, I continue that, this is equal to, I have 1 over 4, and then I have to write down, then there is no way to be lazy. Finally, I have to write x plus minus 2k plus square root of 4k squared plus 4, and then multiply it by minus 2k minus the square root of 4k squared plus 4. I want to hear from you. What is your preference to continue?
Conjugate.
Conjugate rule. Some people say that, okay, I will never learn conjugate rule because I multiply every time it works. It's a bad attitude. It's awful. So you have to learn the conjugate rule. So what's the answer? Can you tell me? This is a number, this is the same number, once added to this number, once subtracted from that number. So this is really conjugate pattern. So can you say what I should write here? 4k squared minus the second one to the power of 2, which is
4k squared plus 4.
Yes?
So k is arbitrary.
Yes? Agree?
Yes.
And then I am in trouble. Why is that? This k, by the way, these people were smart because really k doesn't matter. Miraculously k disappeared. And then what happens? Yes. Then what happens? I get 1 over 4 times 4, it's 1. It's unfortunate then. Yes, because I was thinking that the problem is solved, I got stuck. Exactly. So I don't know how many times I should say this to you. Okay? This minus sign is for both of them. Yes? So what happens then? Then it becomes 1 over 4. I multiply this minus sign in. Not only the first one is negative, the second one is also negative. And then I am done. So this one and that one are gone, so I get my problem solved. Yes?